A man named Nick Cassidy checks into the Roosevelt Hotel under the name Joe Walker. A valet escorts him to his room. He enjoys a luxury breakfast with champagne, then carefully wipes down every surface he touches. After writing a short note, he leaves it on the table. He then opens the window and steps onto the ledge. A woman on the street spots him and immediately calls 911. To understand why he's there, we need to go back a month. Nick is an ex-cop serving a 25-year prison sentence. His former partner, Mike Ackerman, visits him with bad news. Nick's father is dying. Mike promises to get Nick a temporary release so he can attend the funeral. At the funeral, Mike and his fiancée offer condolences to Nick, Nick's brother Joey, and Joey's girlfriend Angie. Tension quickly rises between the brothers. Their argument turns into a fight. As guards rush in to separate them, Nick grabs a gun from one of them. With the weapon in hand, he orders Joey to unlock his cuffs, shoots out the transport vehicle's tire, and escapes in Joey's car. Police immediately give chase through the cemetery. Nick leads them toward nearby train tracks. He crashes his car into a moving train and slips away before anyone can reach him. Mike arrives at the scene and checks on Joey. Meanwhile, Nick reaches a safe house where everything he needs is already waiting. Back at the Roosevelt Hotel, police shut down the surrounding streets. Emergency crews arrive and inflate an air cushion below the building. Detective Jack Doherty heads straight to Nick's room and introduces himself. He says he's there to help. Outside, Detective Dante Marcus takes control of the growing crowd gathering below. Doherty tries to convince Nick to come back inside, but Nick refuses. Instead, he makes a demand. He wants negotiating officer Lydia Mercer brought to him within 30 minutes. Otherwise, he jumps. Inside the room, Doherty and Marcus examine the note Nick left behind. It reads, "I will exit this world as I entered, innocent." Marcus orders the room dusted for fingerprints. Doherty contacts Mercer and tells her she has been specifically requested. When Mercer arrives, Doherty briefs her on the situation. Nick tells her everything changes today one way or another. He's willing to die if that's what it takes. Mercer wonders why he asked for her if he's already made up his mind. Nick says it's because she's famous and he needs a crowd. At the same time, Mike searches for answers. Nick's escape doesn't feel right to him. He asks a colleague to review any unusual communication between the Cassidy brothers. Meanwhile, Marcus interviews the valet and learns Nick left him a $100 tip. Soon after, Doherty reports that the room contains no fingerprints. Mercer gets an idea. She offers him a cigarette, hoping to get Nick's fingerprint. Nick sees through the attempt and declines her offer. Suddenly, Nick hears Joey's voice through his hidden earpiece. Joey and Angie are also part of the plan. Nick tries to get Mercer away from him so he can speak freely. Meanwhile, the media begins covering news reports about Mercer and bring up a recent tragedy involving a rookie officer she failed to save. Across the street, David Englander learns his investors are late because of the jumper. At the same time, Nick continues to feed instructions to Joey and Angie. The pair breaks into a building across the street from the hotel. After the night security system shuts down for day shift, they drill a hole through the roof and plant an explosive charge. Once they're ready, they signal Nick. Nick suddenly pretends to jump. The crowd below erupts in panic. While everyone's attention is on Nick, Joey detonates the explosive and blows open a hole in the roof. He and Angie slip inside while Nick continues playing his role. Then he casually asks Mercer for a cigarette. Nick tells Mercer he's familiar with her career. According to him, they have more in common than she realizes. Nick tells her not to give up on him. Then he hands the cigarette back. Mercer immediately takes it inside and gives it to an officer for fingerprint analysis. Meanwhile, Joey confirms they are inside the building. At the same time, Mike sees live news coverage of the jumper situation, but he still doesn't know the man on the ledge is Nick. As Mercer continues trying to connect with Nick, a news helicopter flies dangerously close to the building and nearly knocks him off the ledge. Mike now knows who the jumper is, but before he can react further, he receives a call about a storage unit registered under Joey's name. In the meantime, Joey and Angie starts their descent in an empty elevator shaft. Joey disables the security cameras as they move deeper inside. Just as they approach, Angie notices an unfamiliar sensor mounted on the ceiling. The pair backs away before they trigger the entire security system. Outside, while Mercer is pressing Nick for answers, Joey reports the problem. Nick can't respond directly without exposing the plan. Instead, he cleverly disguises his instructions inside his conversation with Mercer. Joey remains confused, but Angie figures it out. It's a heat sensor. They cool it with a fire extinguisher and safely disable the threat. Meanwhile, Mike breaks into Joey's storage unit. Inside, he finds government files connected to 3 people: Nick Cassidy, Joe Walker, and himself. Back at the hotel, Marcus finally receives Nick's identification. He immediately calls Mercer. The man on the ledge is Nick Cassidy, a former police officer convicted of stealing Englander's $40 million Monarch diamond. Marcus also points out crucial information. Englander owns both the hotel and the diamond exchange across the street. Suddenly, the pieces start fitting together. Mercer realizes Nick may be trying to prove his innocence. She also learns that Mike was Nick's former partner. She contacts him immediately and explains what's happening. Instead of sharing what he found in the storage unit, Mike burns the documents and claims he's heading to the hotel. At the same time, Marcus contacts Englander's security team and orders an inspection of the vault. Meanwhile, Englander finally learns the identity of the man standing on the ledge. Across the street, Joey and Angie are already outside the vault. Back at the hotel, Mercer confronts Nick. She knows about the Monarch Diamond, and she wants answers. Nick isn't surprised. Instead, he tells her that he knows police are already on their way to inspect the Diamond Exchange vault. Joey and Angie hear every word through their earpieces. Instantly, panic sets in. They rush to clean up evidence and find a place to hide. Nick finally explains why he's risking everything. He insists he never stole the diamond. According to him, Englander framed him. Mercer isn't convinced. Nick argues that this is the closest thing he'll ever get to a new trial. Then he turns the crowd below into his jury. As Englander's security team escorts police toward the exchange, Joey asks for more time. Nick gets a great idea. He starts throwing money off the ledge. The crowd immediately surges forward to grab it. Within seconds, the Diamond Exchange entrance is blocked. While the chaos unfolds outside, Angie quickly positions a hidden camera to capture the vault passcode. The duo manage to disappear into a ceiling vent just as security and police enter the vault area. Meanwhile, Marcus updates Englander on the situation. Englander is pissed. He refuses to believe any of this is a coincidence. At the Diamond Exchange, Englander's head of security escorts the officers to the vault room. As he enters the passcode, Joey and Angie secretly record every digit. After a quick inspection, the officers find nothing suspicious and leave. Back at the hotel, Marcus loses patience. He gives Mercer an ultimatum: get Nick off the ledge within 15 minutes or the tactical team moves in. Meanwhile, Mike races toward the hotel. Across the street, Joey and Angie emerge from hiding and return to the vault room. Mercer warns Nick about Marcus's deadline. Nick knows time is running out, so he finally explains everything. According to Nick, Englander stole the Monarch Diamond himself. While Nick was transporting the diamond, Englander and two accomplices ambushed him and took it. Englander was close to bankruptcy. Instead of selling the diamond, he insured it. Then, just 2 weeks after Nick's conviction, Englander collected the insurance payout, and the men who helped Englander were police officers. Nick wants Mercer's help. Mercer agrees, but if he's lying, she promises to push him off the ledge herself. At the same time, Mike arrives at the scene and checks in with Marcus first. A female officer delivers documents recovered from Nick's prison cell. Mike quickly grabs them and insists he'll take them upstairs himself. Meanwhile, Mercer contacts Internal Affairs. She learns that before his arrest, Nick had been cooperating with Internal Affairs and repeatedly mentioned a corrupt officer named Joe Walker. That's the same name Nick used to check into the hotel. The connection immediately grabs her attention. Mercer questions Marcus about it. Marcus denies knowing anything. Frustrated, Mercer drops the F-bomb. Marcus responds by ordering the tactical team into position. At the same time, Mike quietly slips into a bathroom and secretly removes several pages from Nick's prison files before he heads upstairs. Mike enters the room and hands the remaining files to Doherty. Mercer immediately questions him about Englander and Joe Walker. Mike avoids giving a direct answer. Instead, he insists he wants to speak with Nick. That request raises even more red flags. Mercer no longer trusts him. She orders him to stay away from the ledge. With no other option, Mike leaves. Meanwhile, Angie crawls through a ventilation shaft and reaches the vault room. Nick instructs Angie to cut the live wire and use it to fry the processor. The security network goes dark, and Joey joins her in the vault room. Together, they begin drilling through the vault door. Inside the hotel room, Doherty discovers bomb schematics among Nick's prison documents. Mercer immediately confronts Nick about the bomb plans. Before she can press further, Doherty warns her the tactical team is ready to move. Mercer immediately calls Marcus to stop the tactical strike. Marcus refuses. Out of options, Mercer steps onto the ledge beside Nick. The situation becomes too risky. Marcus has no choice but to stand down. Across the street, Joey and Angie finally break through the vault door. Inside, they find Englander's fortune. For a moment, Angie reaches for one of the diamonds. Joey stops her. They only came for the Monarch. The problem is, it's not there. When Joey reports the bad news, Mercer realizes that Nick has a hidden earpiece. Nick has no choice but to admit that this time, he's stealing the Monarch for real. Nick orders Joey and Angie to switch to Plan B. Alarms suddenly echo through the Diamond Exchange. Englander, his security team, and several officers rush inside. The vault room is a mess. Englander orders his security chief to keep the police occupied while he checks a hidden safe. Inside, he finds the Monarch Diamond. Relieved, he takes it with him. Back at the hotel, Doherty informs Mercer that Internal Affairs is waiting for her call. As Mercer begins speaking with the agent, Mike quietly makes his move. Pretending to deliver some made-up files, he lures Doherty out of the room and locks the door behind him. Now he's alone with Nick. Mike insists he's still a friend and he wants to help. Nick doesn't buy it. He already knows Mike is somehow involved. Then he mentions Internal Affairs. Mike gets nervous immediately and he tries to grab Nick by force. Marcus decides now is the time and orders the tactical team to move in. Nick spots them coming. With no time to spare, he jumps across the ledges and makes his way back inside the hotel. Outside, the crowd erupts as they watch the chase unfold. Mercer and Doherty try to apprehend Mike, but Mike somehow slips away during the chaos. Marcus orders every available officer to find Nick before he disappears. Meanwhile, Englander returns to his office, only to discover Joey and Angie already waiting for him. Joey searches him and quickly finds the Monarch diamond. Then they force Englander to handcuff himself to a safe. With the diamond secured, Joey and Angie leave. The pair rushes to the hotel and heads into a storage area. There, they hand a bag to the same valet who escorted Nick to his room. After they leave, the valet opens the bag. Inside is the Monarch diamond. He quietly slips it into his pocket. Back in his office, Englander manages to reach a phone. He immediately calls Marcus. During the chaos, Mercer receives an update from Internal Affairs. They have strong circumstantial evidence against Mike and Marcus. Nick is telling the truth all along. Elsewhere in the hotel, Nick continues running from the tactical team. During the chase, he runs into the valet. The valet quietly hands him the Monarch diamond. Then he points the pursuing officers in the wrong direction. The diversion buys Nick valuable time. Meanwhile, Marcus catches up to Joey and Angie near the hotel entrance. He drags them into an empty kitchen. Once inside, he begins forcing answers out of them. Back outside, Nick returns to the ledge. This time, he climbs all the way onto the rooftop. The tactical team quickly locates him. Shots are fired. Nick realizes he can't keep running. He surrenders. Moments later, Mercer reaches the roof as well. Marcus arrives shortly after, then he makes another move. He arrests Mercer for obstruction. With Mercer out of the way, Marcus dismisses the tactical team and calls Englander. Soon after, Englander arrives along with Joey and Angie. If Nick doesn't return the diamond, Joey goes over the edge. To keep Joey alive, Nick has to hand over the Monarch diamond. Englander orders Marcus to clear the mess and leaves. Meanwhile, Mercer manages to free herself and heads straight back to the rooftop. Marcus orders Nick to jump. If he refuses, Joey dies. But then, Mike suddenly appears and opens fire on Marcus. Marcus shoots back. Both men go down. Nick and Joey rush toward Mike. Dying from his wounds, Mike apologizes Nick for everything. At the same time, Marcus is still alive. He's got a bulletproof vest. He gets up and prepares to finish the job. Mercer arrives just in time and shoots Marcus in the neck. Then Joey spots Englander escaping. Waving, smiling, acting like he's already won. Nick refuses to let him walk away. With nothing left to lose, he leaps from the rooftop and crashes onto the air cushion below. The crowd watches in disbelief. Nick immediately gets back on his feet and catches Englander before he can get away. He tackles him to the ground. Then he reaches into Englander's pocket and pulls out the Monarch diamond. Nick holds up the diamond for everyone to see. The evidence is finally impossible to deny. Later that day, Nick is released from custody. Mercer is waiting for him outside. She still wants answers. Nick doesn't give her any. Instead, he takes her to a crowded bar. Inside, the hotel valet is now a bartender. Nick happily greets him with a hug. Then he introduces him to Mercer as Frank Cassidy, Nick and Joey's father. Mercer is stunned. Moments later, Joey and Angie arrive. Joey surprises everyone. He pulls out a diamond ring he secretly took from Englander's vault and asks Angie to marry him. Angie says yes. The two kiss as everyone celebrates around them. Frank announces drinks for the whole bar. Kudos to Mercer for trusting her instincts to save an innocent man. After everything they've been through, the Cassidys finally have something to celebrate.